Hi, my name is Aman, and I'm a record producer, mix engineer, and musician. I've been a musician since childhood. I went to learn keyboard as a kid, and yeah, I think I realized at that time that this is something that I like doing. And how I reached the media tribe? Well, when I was like finishing school, by that time it was pretty clear to me that I want to do something with music. I did not want to go do like a regular degree because first of all I was not good at anything else, and I thought music will be fun. Like that's something I enjoy doing. So yeah, I just figured out what is something that I can go and do like as a course or a degree, where where it keeps me close to music. And I found out about this thing called sound engineering, and I was completely oblivious of what it was. But I read about it, and then I realized that there are some institutes in Bombay that you can go to. And I when I came to Bombay, I found a way to meet Ashish sir. And once I had that meeting, I guess I was pretty sold. I was very sure that I wanted to go there, because for the simple reason that I found out, like a dumb person, I did not read up on him before. So yeah, he when I went to him, he gave me this. So he probably realized that I don't know who I'm sitting with. So he gave me this, like a CV of sorts. This is the stuff that we do, and all of those were like albums that I remember like listening to on cassettes in cars and at home, and like really like falling in love with music through those albums. So for me, that decision was very easy. Like I just knew that I had to be here and work with the people here because they've done great work. Well, they are two very different questions, I guess. But actually, in some ways, it's not very different, because the course for me, it was very rigorous, because I was, for the most part, I was at the studio for the most time, like at studio or at other projects that we had at that time. So yeah, I mean, I really think that 1 year changed my whole life for many reasons. Because first of all, when you're like an average kid in school, well, where you basically, when you don't do very good at academics, you're made to feel like you suck, like you don't do anything, you're not good at anything. And then all of a sudden you realize that there are things that you can be good at. So I think for me, my whole approach towards life in a way changed, because I started believing that I was good at something, or I could be good at something. So I started working hard, which apparently I'd never done before in my life. So, but it didn't feel like it, honestly. It was good. So I was spending a lot of time at the studio, and I was saying yes to a lot of projects, like all because, one good thing about the Media Tribe is that you get to work on some real world projects, right? So yeah, it was a good opportunity for me. And thanks to Aman, he introduced me to some artists who I still carry with myself, like very dear to me. And yeah, and I think yeah, that whole year changed my entire life in a lot of good ways. Oh, awesome. So I mean, I think everybody at the Media Tribe was in a lot of ways my mentors. But more specifically, I think Aman and Ashish sir, they were like the people that you had to ask, like anything you want to know, they'll have the answers for it. And also Lionel Krasta, he was the star student as he was introduced to me. So when I joined TMT, the day I kind of met Ashish sir, Lionel was at the studio, and I think he was like the fresh hire outside of TMT. Like he was just hired at Flying Carpet. And Ashish sir introduced him to me as his star student, and I think somewhere that kind of remained with me. Like I was like, I also want to be that star student one day. So I think Ashish sir, Aman, and Lionel were like the three major like people in my experience at TMT and like Flying Carpet, who were my mentors. I think in a lot of ways everything I know roots from the time that I spent with these three people. At anywhere, like it could be a conversation, it could be dinners, it could be classes or sessions, or when you're going to a studio or when you're going to a live concert. I think I picked up a lot, not just from the classes but just by spending time with these people, because they are clearly very good at what they do. So and I think more than techniques and theory and this and that, I think it was the way that these people are. They're always on top of things, and they're smart. So you want to be smart when you're with them. So it drives you in a lot of ways. I think I should talk about my career after Bombay, because life after TMT for me was life at Flying Carpet, and that was just as much fun and just as rigorous. And there's a lot of growth in those years. But yeah, I think I started my journey as an independent sound engineer, or whatever you want to call, in 2018, and I moved back to Bhopal, which is my hometown. So yeah, the real journey, kind of began there, because before that, I I was kind of shielded by the same people who I kind of entered the space. My whole kind of goal from the very beginning was to enable artists who don't live in cities like Bombay. Because luckily, I grew up listening to some artists from my city, who were in bands and who were songwriters and all that. And I was not looking at them as songwriters at that point. They were my inspirations. They were the people who made me believe that you could be born in Bhopal and you could pursue music and record music and release music and have a reputation as a musician. Right? So I wanted to become a musician, basically. But after the media tribe, I think I realized I was not as good on stage as I would be behind a computer or behind a console. And also technology helps. I work with a lot of people who are not from Bhopal, like literally never. I'm working on the third Mokain album. Mokain is a band from Delhi. It's headed by this guy Amrit, and he's a great songwriter. He's into rock music a lot, and I love rock music. So yeah, so we've never met, and we're working on the third album right now. So that's the reality of today. You could be working with people from anywhere, who live anywhere. So it's good. The journey has been fun. There's been a lot of growth, a lot of I can call some successes, a lot of challenges, but fun. Yeah, so I think there were a bunch of like TV related projects also that happened at that time. So I remember going to the sets of India's Raw Star, because like Flying Carpet Productions at that time was in charge for recording the show and also doing the post production, I guess. So I was still a student, so we were sent as assistants to kind of just go and observe and be with the seniors and see what they're doing. I remember the most flashy thing I ever saw in my life until that point was this. I think it's an Avid D show. This console. It looks like a spaceship, and I'd never seen anything like that in my life before. So a lot of us kind of were like, okay, I want to go to the set because I want to see the Avid D show. So yeah, I think one of the projects was that it, and then there was. So I think one of the most exciting projects for me when I was in the media at the Media Tribe was The Stage, the singing reality show that airs on Colors, whatever the English version of that is, Colors Infinity. So yeah, I think that project gave me a lot of confidence, and you get to spend a lot of time with the people you're working with, and it's just I think one thing that everybody who worked on that project took from it was that just how much music we heard. I think I mean, I could be wrong in my numbers, but I think we heard about 300 to 400 songs per season. And when I say heard, so my job, I mean, if you don't mind me going into some detail about it, my job in the first season was to create these +1 edits. So what the thing would be that they would send us a list of songs that would be performed in a particular episode. And then my job was to create a 1 or 1.5 minute edit of those songs and send it to them for approval. And when they would give a thumbs up, the production team would start producing like a programming and producing a version of the song. And then they would send us scale changes, and then they would record the show, like the episode, and send us the vocal tracks back for mix, and then we would mix it and send it back. So if I remember correctly, my job in the first season was just to do the +1 edits and the emails, and that felt like such a huge task at that time, and because just the volume was too much. But like, I don't think I've listened to more music in a span of 4 months than I listened to when I was working on The Stage. And they were all hit songs, like big hits from decades, like from different decades. So I think it exposed me to a lot of music that I had not heard before. So I think that was a big benefit of it. Yeah. That might be one of the first songs that we recorded for the album. I think that album was very quickly done, actually. Me and Saby, we met back in 2019, and he made 2 trips to Bhopal. The first one didn't work out that well because whatever we recorded was not with the intention of doing the whole album. We just recorded a few songs. But then when he came back again, like, the first experience kind of helped us build a relationship and a certain amount of trust. So the next time he came around, I think we tracked the album in 4 to 5 days, not more than that. Yeah. And Gumaan was, it's one of my personal favorites from that album. I actually recommended Saby to put that as the opening song of the album because initially that was not the idea. And yeah, if I remember correctly, because seems like it has been a long time since that was recorded, because it was done in 2019. The album came out actually released on Valentine's Day in 2020. Yeah. So उसके बाद बहुत बदल चुकी है दुनिया. But yeah, I mean, I think we both knew from the beginning that the album is going to be very intimate. The sonic kind of experience has to complement that factor. There's no instrumentation apart from guitars and vocals. So, it is a good and a bad thing sometimes, but with Saby's music, it just works. So my entire goal with all the songs was to make sure that the guitar was recorded in a manner that you can really feel yourself in the room. Like, you can feel like you're watching it happen in front of you, which is why I think a lot of the use of the effects on the entire album is very it's not very typical. I would say it's a little bit peculiar. Like, a lot of things are very straight up in your face and raw, but when they have to be in a certain kind of a zone, they go. So yeah, so that's what happens in Gumaan, I guess. Yeah, I think I used a total of 4 microphones to record the guitar. And yeah, I also use the DI inside of the guitar itself. So there are so he had a Martin. He has a Martin acoustic guitar. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's a pretty common Martin guitar that you see around with a lot of people. It's a concert size Martin acoustic guitar, and the DI on it, it's not the greatest sounding DI ever, but it's got a great low end. Like, it's got an unreal amount of low end, and which is good, which is not like a usual, like a cheap guitar DI low end. So I wanted definitely to capture that. So I used that, and I think the guitars were recorded with the space pair, like two large diaphragm condensers, and then I put two room mics, which like away, like far away from him, and they were also like a space pair, but they were both like a pair of pencil condensers. I don't remember which ones they were. I definitely know at that point I did not have this one. So this is like the SE8 by SE Electronics. So I think at that time at the studio there were some Samson mics. Samson is this kind of I don't want to call it cheap, but it's pretty affordable, decent quality mics. Not too much character in them, but if you want to capture something clean, they do the job. So yeah, those were the room mics, and I think the close space pair was C414 and a Rode NT1A. Yeah, all vocals were done on the C414, AKG C414, and I think most of them were like so the comp was not like we took like 500 takes and then made one. It was more or less 2, 3, 4 takes max. Yeah, and I tried to use like chunks, like not editing a lot, because that's where the kind of intimacy comes from. I think just develop your skill sets. That's what Ashish sir used to say.